Hello again. Here we are. I have snuck off to my dad's office because it's a little further away from the other side of the house where my mom and dad are. So again, they're both tucked in bed, which I need to be very quickly. But I'm here and I'm going to just acknowledge I'm in the same clothes I've been in for 2 other nights already now. I considered changing my t-shirt. Thought maybe I should do that just to not be gross. And then I thought, you know what? I'm not going to change anything because this is what is. This is my life right now, is sitting around in the same clothes till I bother to shower again. And I haven't showered again, but that hopefully should happen tomorrow. Don came over today and we laid around, watched more movies. It's so funny because normally I don't even want to watch movies. Normally it's either I'm drugged or I'm so tired and I'm not clear-headed enough and I don't even want to watch movies. But I've been really enjoying them. A couple of them were good. A couple of them were really dorky. Nothing was up to the cred of It's a Wonderful Life. Nothing at all. But Don came over today and he was telling me about church this morning. And our pastor did a lesson on rest and Sabbath rest. And he talked about, I wasn't there and I haven't listened to the sermon, so this is my take on what he talked about, okay? He talked about that there's an order. He's kind of going through some theology right now. And so he was talking about the order of things, God's order, how God created things in an order. And part of that order was for a Sabbath rest. I mean, think about that. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Now, we could talk a long time. What does it mean to keep it holy? And a lot of people have defined that a lot of different ways. Some people are really radical about it, and some people, it's my heart, it's whatever, and I'm not here to judge, trust me, because I had a son who, I never dreamed I'd do sports on Sundays, and then he ended up on a swim teams, and it mattered to him, and because he had Mito and he was pushing through and fighting hard, I bent the rule that mattered to me, and we did some sports on Sundays. We went to some swim meets that were 3 days long, for good or bad. So I am not here pointing any fingers at anybody, but it is an interesting point that in God's order, rest was part of the design. And I just think we've lost that. We've really lost what it means to rest. And so I'll say this, it's kind of like, there are some benefits to being chronically ill. Like one, you realize you don't need a shower every day. Heavens, you don't even really have to shower every day and every other day. And if your hair is long enough and you shampoo it enough the day you take a shower, sometimes I can actually get away with more days than I want to admit by not bothering to shower because it just makes me too tired. But so there's a benefit and part of that actually has been every surgery. The more surgeries I have, the more I realize, it's too much of a pain to bother to shower. I'll do it later. So anyway, but beyond that, there's something in being chronically ill where rest is mandatory. And you're either going to learn to resent that rest or embrace that rest. There have been seasons I have resented forced rest. So if you're there, man, I understand. But then there have been seasons where I've come into rest, to understanding what a gift the rest is. That resting in a society that goes 90 to nothing is a gift. Maybe I don't need everything I thought I needed. Maybe I don't need to be running all the time or looking at this and looking at that. I mean, I'm like you. I mean, my cell phone's with me almost all the time. And I, kind of go around whether, am I addicted or do I just like it? It's great entertainment, But when you really think about where we are now versus, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, gosh, I haven't even had a cell phone or a Wi-Fi cell phone for 10 years. It's probably been 5. And how it has radically changed my life to feeling on all the time. We can always know the news. We can always be hit with something that's strong that we need, that we're kind of, the world is saying, hey, you need to join in this emotional frenzy, this emotional turmoil. You can't be at peace. Your side might not win the election, And they just love to have headlines that keep us in turmoil, that the dialogue's gotten so cranked up that it's almost, somebody somewhere is going to say it's going to fail. And anyway, that emotional pull, anxiety is at an all-time high, fear doubt, unbelief, certainly. I mean, how many people are really going to church these days? And churches are failing. You know, it's like we've chosen to be caught up on the hamster wheel and to go round and round and round on the hamster wheel as if that is the norm. And we were not designed for that. We were designed for rest on the Sabbath. We were designed to have space to breathe. And you know, one of the things that I think that was pointed out in the sermon that I haven't listened to yet, but that I was told about, is that a lot of that rest time was given or allotted to learn more about God. You know, how much space in our days and in our time are we allotting to just turning off the emotional pull and going, wow, dwell on the heavens, dwell in the high place, you know, to imagine being in that place with a view. You know, I love to be up high. Can't climb high things very well anymore, but I love to see things from up high because everything looks so small and it puts it in a perspective. It's just, I think we all love the breathtaking view from above. Well, we've been told that we need that spiritual space and that emotional space to allow a view from above of all that's going on. And yet we really aren't practiced at doing that. We are not practiced at withdrawing and spending space in our hearts and in our minds thinking, wow, he's got this taken care of. It's okay. It's just okay. Now, I've been in seasons, and even recently I've been in seasons where like the emotional weight of what was going on certainly hung to me, you know, kind of like Christmas ornaments or something. You know, it's there. And I'm not going to say that in those times, there are definite times of grief, times of loss, times where the hits keep coming and it just feels hard to breathe. But I think the real training ground is trying to figure out how in the midst of those times to take 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes and go, wow, wait a minute. I can detach from that for a minute and think about the glory of God, the glory of heaven, the glory of what's to come, the glory of what is, the glory of what has happened, the glory of the cross, the glory of resurrection morning. I mean, can you imagine? Those stories are there, and like you, I've heard them a lot, and it's not that I don't lean on them, but I know I can lean on them more. I mean, I've said before, what would happen if I woke up thinking about resurrection power, you know, every morning? Man, he rose from the dead. Like I'm involved in something. I'm involved in a faith that is here from thousands of years and is here because this guy walked the earth and did these crazy things that right now in our culture we have a hard time believing in the divine and the miraculous. We are so intellectual oriented that we don't know what to do with the divine, with the miraculous, with what we can't explain. And yet that's what Jesus was. That's who Jesus was. He was somebody we couldn't understand. So, the one thing I know I've learned over time, and it has been a process, is to say, I can check out, not to just check out, but to value what I have. To value what is, to engage where I am, to be present where I am, even if on oxycodone still, and just enjoy that. I don't know. I mean, I'm not perfect. In the hospital last week, man, I lost my ability to enjoy. I really think I got claustrophobic. I'm not normally claustrophobic, but I haven't even been able to crawl under the covers in my mother's bed. I told her, I said, I can't handle the thought of anything on me anymore. It was the IV. I was in a small room. I was in such a small room that you couldn't even fit the walker into the bathroom. I had to turn it sideways every time. It was the most annoying thing. Like everything I did felt cramped and dislodged. And I've just needed to stretch out. And I know I must be getting better because I actually entertained the idea that I might crawl under the covers at some point. Right now I'm enjoying just a blanket on top where I feel free. So, I mean, things get to us. There's no doubt about that. But even in those moments, you know, that's when I realized like I was getting too negative in my thinking. I had to turn on TBN. I had to find something that would take my thoughts out of my situation and get them more focused on what God's perspective is. Maybe it's just his victory in somebody else's life, because I love hearing other people's victories and what he's doing, because it encourages me that I know I'm on the list too, that there will be another day, even if my day is boring right now, or even doesn't seem like I'm gaining ground, there will be a day that I will see the victory too. So I think that's it for tonight. Love you all, appreciate you all again so much more than you know, and I hope you have a great evening. Oh, and I don't think I ever said it. It's day 26. Ha! Day 26. We're getting along there. Thanks, guys. Bye.